Hello internet, and welcome to me ripping off the game theory intro. Today we're going back on our grind to make it through 50 references in Apex Legends. We got 13 more coming up today, and we got some crazy stuff. We're like talking about everything from drug monsters to drug addicts to Naruto, and I don't know how all three of those relate, but I'm sure they do in some way or another, and you could probably figure it out if you tried hard enough. But that's enough of an intro. Let's just get right into these 13 things because we got a whole lot of stuff to plow through. Number one, some of you might actually be familiar with, and this is the Mirage banner frame called Hothead. Now, I believe this was in the Season 3 Battle Pass. I'm sure you'll correct me if I'm wrong. But in it, you can clearly see that he has his head on fire in the bottom left, and on the top right, he is totally frozen. And this is a reference to Home Alone, where Harry's head gets lit on fire and Marv gets his face frozen. And I'll have pictures of those up on screen so that you know I'm not lying to you. The Harry one looks a lot more convincing. If I actually went through the movie, I'm sure I could have found the exact frame where Marv looks like the Mirage in the top right-hand corner, but I didn't want to buy or pirate it, so we're stuck with the pictures from Google. Next, let's talk about the strike a pose execution for Mirage. And I had asked in my previous video if you guys knew where a couple of these came from, and you guys responded in such a big way. With this one in particular, I saw about 4 people who commented this, but I took the first one that came in, so I'm sorry to everyone else. And I'll play the clip for you, but this is from when Jack Nicholson's Joker kills some guy. I've never seen the movie, but he looks important in a very funny way, but I'll let you watch it yourself. Next up, though, let's talk about Wraith, and this is actually a really funny one. You guys remember the Area 51 raid when that guy did the run back behind the reporter? Well, they actually took that meme and turned it into Wraith's running animation, which is absolutely hilarious. I love it. Can you imagine if I just left it there? The amount of people roasting me in the comments. Wraith's run is an homage to Naruto's run, and I'm not gonna lie to you, the first time I loaded up into firing range to try out the third person mode and I saw Wraith run like this, I literally could not stop laughing. It was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever seen. This is like every super cringy kid in middle school who thought they were like really cool and edgy Naruto running around the school with like their Sonic backpack. But yes, the Wraith Run is a reference to Naruto. It's very funny and a cool reference. Moving on though, let's talk about my favorite one so far out of the 39 references that we'll be covering. Now, I literally have no idea why the people at Respawn know what this is. I've never even heard this referenced in my entire life in like literally anything, so let me know if you guys have ever heard of this. But apparently machine elves, and this is a banner frame for Wraith. Apparently machine elves are like a species of these like monster things that live in the plains of psychedelic drugs. So when you take like DMT or something and you're tripping out, these dudes will like come hang out with you. That's what a machine elf is. And they're very popularly spoken of in Native American culture and also some African tribes. But they've also been studied in a lab setting where people have taken drugs and seen them. Now, obviously, everybody who trips out sees a different version of them. So if you Google it, there are like a million different types of them. So the banner frame is very likely just an artist depicting them. Now, I don't know which artist at Respawn underwent this transformation to know what they look like to put them on a banner frame, but who knows, man? To each their own. Just kidding. I don't encourage doing drugs in any way, shape, or form. Thank you very much. Next, though, let's talk about Death Finds a Way. And now we're starting to dip our toes in some of the quips and some of the voice lines. Now, this is a voice line for Caustic, and it's a reference to Jurassic Park. And I'll play the clip for you, but just to kind of give a little summary of it, Jeff Goldblum is talking about the dinosaurs and how through evolution, no matter what it takes, life finds a way.
Oh, I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
And so Caustic is saying the opposite of that, kind of a play on words, which I personally thought was pretty funny. It's definitely a very clear reference. since Caustic apparently just sees everything through the lens of death. But moving on, let's talk about the Wattson Cybersecurity skin, which somebody pointed out to me very recently, actually. When I was researching this video, I got the comment. So thank you so much. I will have your name up on screen. And now this Wattson skin is kind of multi-layered, so let's take it piece by piece. First off, a lot of her body design is modeled after Kaora from Tron Legacy, which is the not as good one that came out like 10 years ago. And you can see she has like the disc down on her knees where, you know, she would take that off and throw it at somebody like to attack them. But the headpiece that she has on actually originates from the original Tron movie from the 1980s. And I'll show pictures of both of them. And even the name Cybersecurity makes a lot of sense because, as the comment pointed out, the character Tron was invented as a form of cybersecurity. So this really is pretty multi-layered and a really cool reference in my opinion. Moving on though, let's talk about the Electric Pose banner frame. This one also is a pretty solid reference. It's a reference to the song by MGMT, which is also called Electric Feel. And as you can see in the lyrics, it talks about an electric eel, which is on the banner frame. And it also talks about a lot of electricity and stuff, which is kind of, you know, Wattson's thing. So this one is a really solid reference in my opinion. It makes a lot of sense to me. Additionally, let's talk about the Bloodhound existential banner pose. Now, this is one of a couple that are references back to Shakespeare. This one in particular is a reference to the most stereotypical Hamlet pose, where he's holding the skull and looking at it with like the to be or not to be, that is the question thing going on. So yeah, this is a pretty simple, straightforward reference. Similarly to that one, let's talk about the Pathfinder and Beyond banner pose, which is a pretty clear reference to Infinity and Beyond, which is something that Buzz Lightyear says in Toy Story. Now, I've combed through these like 100 times, and I don't know how I didn't pick up on it until right now, because it's such a clear reference and the pose is like so perfectly modeled after Buzz Lightyear. I literally have no idea how I didn't pick it up. Also, one of the ones that I just completely stumbled upon when I was researching is the close-up banner pose for Pathfinder is really, really similar to when Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man first learns how to swing, which is like literally the funniest thing on the planet to me. Like after watching it a couple times, it's such a clear reference because when Pathfinder comes down, he looks like Spider-Man swinging, which is what originally got me looking into it. But then the fact that he's coming right at the camera and then he just smacks straight into a wall made me really think of the Tobey Maguire video. With that one out of the way though, let's talk about Bangalore. And now this one was pointed out by probably 4,000 people. I think it was in the Gaming Merchants video a while back, and I think that's where a lot of people saw it from. So I'm really only putting it in here because so many of you guys asked for it. I think a majority of people know it, but for the sake of completion in the series, I will include it. I don't think I've included anything else from anybody else's videos. The only one that I've ever seen is the Gaming Merchants, and I try my best to avoid putting ones in that he's already talked about. And now that I just rambled for 45 seconds about it, I'm just going to very briefly mention it, and it's the "Come on in, old Painless is waiting" line, and it's actually from the original Predator movie, the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know why he keeps coming up in these references, but he does, so I'll show the clip and then we'll move right along.
Come on in, old Painless is waiting.
But let's talk about Bangalore's other voice line, which is "Another One Bites the Dust," which is a pretty clear reference to the song by Queen, "Another One Bites the Dust." Now, I obviously can't play any of that song, unfortunately, or Freddie Mercury will come back from the grave and take all of the monetization from this video. So, unfortunately, we can't do that. But you can look at this beautiful picture of Rami Malek that I found on Google, and also this album cover that I found. You're welcome. I know, you don't have to thank me in the comments. And last but not least, Revenant has a really rare animation when he builds his ultimate, where he does, and forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, Ito Tensei Jutsu, which is something from Naruto. I've been told by a lot of the comments. I'm sorry guys, I'm a letdown. I haven't seen a lot of Naruto, but a couple of you guys mentioned this, so I wanted to include it in here. Now that's gonna be it for these 13 references, guys. If you knew any of these, please let me know down below, and if you know any more of them that I haven't included, please let me know, because it's definitely getting harder to find them as the more obvious ones are getting used up. Thank you you guys so much for watching though, and for all of your comments. It's really helped me in keeping the series going, because obviously there's a lot of stuff that I don't know. Unfortunately, I am not omniscient, but we're slowly making our way through all of them, and I'm obviously continuing to research. So again, thank you guys so much. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, please hit that like button so that I know if you guys want another part. If you haven't already, you can join the club by hitting that red subscribe button right underneath this video. And until next time, guys, take it easy.